This meeting is a meeting of the West Geauga Local School District Board of Education.
You have a mask on.
Mic is on. What? This meeting is a meeting of the West Geauga Local School District Board of Education. Conducting the West Geauga Local School District's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray, turn
Here.
it up. Ms. Leavenworth.
Yes, Mike.
Remove your mask. Mr. Kaczowski.
Yes.
Mr. Thorson.
Here. Rise for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Make a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Beers.
Yes.
Mr. Kaczowski.
Yes.
Ms. Leavenworth. Yes. Mr. Rainey.
Yes.
Mr. Thorson.
Yes.
There are no program reports and presentations at this time. I would like to move that we increase the time for public participation from the 30-minute policy to 45 minutes.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kaczowski.
Yes.
Ms. Leavenworth. Yes. Mr. Rainey.
Yes.
Mr. Thorson.
Yes.
Dr. Beers.
Yes.
Can we hear you? It's the point during the meeting set aside for the community to address the board. Before speaking, please preface your comments with your name, address, and any relevant group affiliation. Board policy limits individual comments to 5 minutes, and tonight we have extended the total time for comments from 30 to 45 minutes. The board does not, as per policy, respond to individual comments during the meeting. I understand that we may not be able to get to everyone who wants to speak. We'll get to as many as we can during the time available. I ask the speakers to respect the attendees and the other folks who want to speak and limit yourselves to 5 minutes. Please remain civil, refrain from using profanity or being abusive, and make sure to address the board. If you're not currently speaking, please respect the speaker and the audience and do not be disruptive. If you're disruptive to the extent that you obstruct the progress of the meeting, whether during public participation or after, you may be asked to leave. I'll be keeping folks to the 5-minute limit pretty closely so we can allow as many people as possible to speak. I will give each speaker a signal when they have 30 seconds remaining. When you speak, please use the handheld microphone at the lectern. Okay. Let's see. First name, Jonathan Broadbent.
Testing. You guys hear me all right? Good. My name is Jonathan Broadbent. We are partway moved into 13785 Brookhaven. Can you hear?
Keep it right up.
I think it's on.
Speaker's facing down.
Oh, that's part of the problem. Jonathan Broadbent, 13785 Brookhaven. We are partly unpacked. We're in the process of moving into West Geauga schools, very specifically for education. That is our sole reason for moving into the community. I have a letter from Dr. Elaine Connolly, who is unfortunately not able to attend this evening. I'll be handing this out. Those are not my comments. My comments pertain to the role of the board of West Geauga Schools. As a new resident, I took it upon myself to look up Geauga County and the school board region that this school board represents. This school board has in its purview one single task, one only, and that is the betterment and enrichment of the children of West Geauga schools. I then took a map of Geauga County and scoured it thoroughly for some very interesting names, starting last Friday. Those names are Cardinal, Milford Exempted, Mason City Schools, Lakota Local, Forest Hills, Delaware City Schools, Northmont, Beaver Creek, Glen Oak, Springboro, and many others. My reason for looking for those school districts in particular within Geauga County and within West Geauga schools is because, interestingly enough, within hours of each other, all on the same day, those school districts declared a masking policy. What that seems to indicate to me is that this school board, in my humble opinion, may have deviated from that sole one objective and may be taking into consideration outside influences outside of this county of Geauga. That, to me, as a new taxpayer, is frustrating and counterproductive to the best interests of the children. I'm going to leave it to other people to speak on the benefits or lack thereof of masking policies. But I wanted to point out that sole objective and point out the Geauga County map. Thank you very much.
I'm told that Mr. Parental has arrived, so we will go.
I appreciate it.
Turn it up.
Name and address, please.
My name is Josh Mandel. I was the state treasurer of Ohio for the past 8 years.
Address.
I live in Beechwood. I'm not a resident here in the community, but I'm a dad. I have 3 little kids, Gideon, who's 5 years old, Judah, who's 6 years old, and Rosie, who's 8 years old. And I think these masks are a form of child abuse. Kids only get one child. They don't get it back, they don't get it again. And to take these kids' childhood and not allow them to see each other, not allow them to socialize, if you look throughout Ohio, you look throughout our country, the depression rates among kids are increasing, the suicide rates among kids are increasing. And a lot of this is a result of kids not being allowed to be kids. And at the end of the day, what you are doing by forcing kids to put masks on themselves is using kids to be human shields to protect adults. And that's not right. Our job as parents, we are charged with protecting our kids. It's not the opposite. We are charged with protecting our kids. They are not charged with protecting us. And we as adults can take the proper precautions to protect ourselves, but when it comes to our kids, we have to allow them to have a childhood. We have to allow them to socialize. And at the end of the day, the death rates for kids when it comes to COVID, it's actually lower than death rates for accidental drowning. If you think about that for a second, we didn't close swimming pools throughout this state this summer. But you're trying to close these kids' faces from each other. And make no mistake about it, ladies and gents, I'm talking with moms and dads all over the state who are fighting the same issue. And there's a lot of corporate money interests on the other side. But I will tell you, in my time in the State House of Representatives and my time as state treasurer, I've seen time and time again, there's one group that's more powerful than money, and it's a group of motivated moms. And these moms and dads are here tonight for one reason, because they care about their kids. And I beg you to listen to them. Thank you very much.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm back again. I feel you.
Name and address, please.
Oh, sorry. Kayla Flowers, 7685 Apple Blossom Lane. I feel you are not taking those of us wanting freedom of choice seriously. Freedom to decide what is best for our families. So I'll say again, wearing masks is not an inconsequential issue. If you actually read the information many parents have sent you, including many governmentally approved studies, you would agree with that statement and not just willy-nilly approve a mask mandate that has no real science to back it. You are ignoring facts and not even using facts to rebuttal, just that the health department says so, which also has not provided facts when asked to. If there is evidence to support your decision, it should not be hard to provide it. My son Asher is a healthy kid. He's 6 years old, and you would not consider him at risk with his health. But all school year, he struggled with lethargy. I got many calls about him falling asleep in class. I should have done something about the mask situation then, but I just complied with the stupid mandate. Well, on May 19th, 2021, I got one of the worst calls a parent will get. They could not wake Asher up. They moved his limp body to the nurse's office from the classroom and still couldn't wake him, so 911 was called. The paramedic couldn't wake him, who was my own family member. After 2 sternal rubs, and attempted one more harder one before possibly having to bag him, he finally woke up after 15 long minutes. I spent the last 2 months torturing my child with tests to find out the cause. After all that, a capnography test and venous blood gas proved that my son retains CO2 when wearing a mask, which causes unconsciousness. This is called hypercapnia, which is defined as excessive carbon dioxide in the bloodstream, typically caused by inadequate respiration. Yes, this is a medical diagnosis that existed before COVID that people want to ignore as a possibility. My child had no warning signs except he was extra tired all year. That could happen to any other kid. I know plenty of parents who don't want to take any chances of that happening to their own children or other issues that mask use can cause. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mary Moriarty. I live at 11795 London Road, Chelsea, Ohio. And no emotions here. This right here, cross-contamination. What have you guys done to clean any of this? I want to know who your trained staff employees are that train everybody here, your employees, staff, everybody. Who trains them on to wear the mask, how to clean the mask? How do you guys clean your masks? Anyone? You don't, do you? Isn't it hot in here? It's getting kind of moist in there. Am I correct? Imagine your kid every day coming to school and feeling like that. Do you know what OSHA says? OSHA says masks cannot keep anything out. Nothing, unless you are in a controlled environment like she said. And that is in a hospital setting. Are we in a hospital setting here? No. How are you going to make this like a hospital setting for our kids? You can't. So you cannot wear a mask. Did you purchase anything with our COVID-19 money? Anything for these kids? Like maybe an iWave air purifier for every single room in here for these kids to breathe free air? Free air. Are you breathing free air right now? Can you breathe through your masks? You're entitled to breathe free air. Let them. Our Constitution states life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You may voluntarily wear your mask. I have no problem with that. But you cannot mandate, because the state did not mandate the mask. Not at all. June 2nd, 2021, the state said no more mandate. So why are you forcing these kids to come back to school when the weather is 90 some degrees? Plus, factor in the humidity, all these people breathing. How do they feel? You guys sit in air conditioning, along with you sit in air conditioning, right? Yeah. Everybody in the office, you sit in air conditioning. You get breaks, am I right, from your mask. When there's nobody there, you get to take it off. When do our kids get to take it off? When?
Now!
Because you're not going to wear a mask. Now, who is your respiratory protection person? Who's the administrator of this to train everybody? Do you have a plan in place? Because OSHA states if you are going to mandate a mask, you have to have a plan. You have to have somebody allocate this plan to all your employees. So, I am hoping you can provide me with all that information. I want to know who your person is, how they were trained, and I want to see their certification. This is exactly how you take your mask and you put it in the plastic bag, and you don't cross-contaminate anything. They go to the bathroom. What do they do? First thing, they probably take their mask off. What do? They touch metal. Metal. Germs grow on metal. Why? Because metal heats up. Am I right? Anybody else? Right. Metal chairs, desks, toilet paper rolls. They're all metal. Am I right? Metal. Germs grow on metal. Heating ground. What do you guys do in your home? You get to relax and take your mask off. So I want my kids to relax and take their mask off at school and be able to learn instead of fussing with the mask. Being able to hear what the teacher says. Being able to see what the teacher enunciates. Being able to learn. Being able to be kids. You guys, are there any kids here? You want to be kids, right? Yeah. Right. They want to associate with their friends. They want to have fun. They want to play sports.
30 seconds.
Let's talk about wrestling. Please! I love that! Let's talk about wrestling. My boys wrestled. My daughter even wrestled. Contact sports. Full contact jets. But we still did it. Yes. We still did it. She has a wrestler, he has a wrestler. Who else is a wrestler here? Look at all these wrestling families. We wrestle. Let them be kids. Please.
Thank you. I'm gonna mess this up. Bruce Randall.
Okay. I'm going to be kind of brief tonight. I'm here specifically.
Name and address,
I'm
please.
sorry. My name is Bruce Randall. I'm at 11361 Sperry Road. So I'm here to challenge the board's legal authority to mandate masks on our kids. I don't believe that. We're here to challenge the superintendents and the board's legal authority. I need you to provide me with something from the state of Ohio, something in the Ohio Revised Code. Where does it say that you have the authority to mask our children? I don't believe it does anywhere. I'd like proof of that. I mean, there's no law. Last year when I had to wear a mask to the football game and sit outside in a mask and social distance, I sent an email to Dr. Marquardt asking him why. And his response was, it's a state law. But there is no state law this year. So, I want you all to know that I don't think they have the authority to do it.
Please address the board.
So, I will address whoever I please. So, I don't believe that they have the authority to make them wear masks. None of you in the room should believe it. And when I send my son to school on the 25th without a mask, if you reprimand him in any way, if you try to force him to wear a mask, I'm going to sue you.
Next person on the list is Anthony Zaffino.
I've been one for over 30 years. I'm very capable of making my own decisions regarding my children's health care. I get to choose what's appropriate for my child. You've taken my parental duty away from me. I do not consent. Your fear is what precipitated this malicious decision to muzzle our children in the first place. And when I say our children, I mean the parents in this crowd, because not one of you has a child in this district. Your fear abounds. And I don't blame you for being afraid. Studies show that your average advanced age puts you at a marginally higher risk than our children from getting COVID. Studies have also shown that people in your age group have a tendency to fall for scams. And you have fallen for the biggest scam ever perpetrated by artists in our society. You have been trained to be fearful of a virus that you yourself have survived for over a year and a half, probably closer to 2 years. You're projecting your fears upon our children, who account for only 0.4% of all COVID deaths nationwide. 0.4%. In Ohio, children ages 0 to 17 account for a whopping 7 deaths. Let me say that again for those in the back. In Ohio, children ages 0 to 17 account for a whopping 7 deaths. Anyone care to guess how many in Geauga County? Anyone? I didn't think so, but I bet you already know. 0. Not 1. Consequences. You probably say, what's the big deal? Wear a mask, it won't hurt anyone. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. Science tells us that not only that masks are not effective against any virus, but it also tells us that they can harbor dangerous bacteria. Science tells us that prolonged mask wearing can lower our immune system. Science tells us that it hinders our young children's ability to learn speech and read facial cues. Science tells us that masks hinder social development. Your fear is unfounded. Nobody is saying that you can't wear a mask in school. All we're saying is that it's our choice. Our choice as parents of West G students, because we're the ones with the kids, not you. And as residents of this community, your fear is clouding your judgment. Your fear is your guide, not science or the government as you claim. The fact is that there is no federal, state, county, or local mandate for masks in schools. The fact is there's no federal, state, county, or local mandate for quarantines. There are guidelines, suggestions, but no one's telling you what we must do, except for you. Now I know there are many of you that shake your heads and call me selfish. Is it selfish to want what's best for your child? Same as all of you. Is it selfish to be standing here fighting not only for my rights, but even for the rights who disagree with me? That's right, I'm fighting for everybody. Your rights are being violated just as mine. You also own the choice of whether or not your child wears a mask. The last thing I would ever do is take that right away from you. I'm not afraid of COVID. I haven't been since the 15 days to flatten the curve. I'm not afraid for myself or my children. I'll tell you what else I'm not afraid of. I'm not afraid of any of you. I'm not afraid of you. And as you can see from tonight, there are a lot more parents who are just like me. So, in the very
We're coming for you!
future, you will be coming to me asking for my support for your re-election campaigns, or for a new single campus, or for a school levy. I'll remember this decision. I will remember how you put your fear ahead of science and our children's well-being. I will remember how you led us along all summer, then changed your mind at the 11th hour. I will remember how you talked so good that everyone was through, that you didn't even bother to find out what we want with a simple survey. You send surveys out for like the stupidest things, and you don't do it for this? I remember how you sat behind your big tables with your comfy chairs and ignored every word that I just said for the last few minutes. And I will remind everyone.
Hello, my name is and I'm a freshman at Geauga High School. Aside from all the parents' reasons to why masks should not be required in school, I have some reasons of my own. You can't tell facial expressions, so you're not sure if kids are joking or being serious. I also can't hear teachers talking. They're muffled and worse tend to blend together. They're a distraction. You can't help but to fidget with them, adjusting them all the time. It's hard to pay attention when I constantly have to be aware that I have to keep this thing on my face. They're hot, especially when it's 90 degrees and we don't have any air conditioning. When it's cold, my glasses are constantly being fogged up and I have a hard time seeing the board or reading books. They smell. No matter how clean I keep them or how often I change them, I'm always bombarded by the smell of the masks themselves or the smell of the bacteria the masks harbor. Masks make you break out. With the constant rubbing and trapping of oils and bacteria, acne is a real problem. It hurts and it's genuinely annoying. My parents and other adults think that you don't care what any of us here say and that your minds are already made up and that there's no changing them. I hope that's not true. I hope that you actually have our best interest in mind. You're here to oversee my education. This meeting is part of that education and I'm being taught right now. So I want to know if my voice affects your decision. I want to know if everybody else's voice affects your decision as well, or if you're just going to ignore all of us. I trust that you'll do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. We have hit the 45-minute limit for public participation. Thank you to everyone who addressed the board today. We understand that this is a divisive issue, and our priority is to balance the needs and concerns of our students, faculty, staff, and community. In the end, we all want the same thing.
Why can't you just tell us? Why are you reading it?
We all want to keep our schools open, providing in-person instruction for the maximum number of days, educating the maximum number of students, allowing maximum participation in extracurricular activities. We all want our students to flourish.
Your fear does not belong in my child's face.
The time for public participation is over.